back up to Green Mountain in a few minutes after we're done with you. I want you to tell everyone that our group, the Crows, that we're coming. He wanted me to tell everyone that this group, they didn't appreciate people that were weak. They would only accept the strong. He said that this apocalypse, this new world we live in, it's all a test, it's all a game. It's a game where the strong are going to win and the weak are going to die. It's going to thin humanity out. Purge it of weak people. And leave it so that only strong people are left to create the new world. You see, back before all of this started, strength was determined by how much money you had, how much influence you had among politics and all that jazz. Nowadays, your strength is determined by reflexes, your instincts, how quick you are on the draw, and how true your aim is.
Of course. And how many friends you have too, right?
No, it doesn't matter how many friends you have, because all it takes is one insane individual to take down an entire group. It happened before. The Romans, the Greeks. Great empires fell because of single people.
You're welcome.
Alright. Well, so what did they do, these crows? They took you out into the woods and they tried to put a little bit of fear into you, and then they sent you back, but it seems like, I mean, at least from what I've heard so far, it doesn't seem like they've done anything too bad within the context of the story.
Well, they spoke to me. I mean, the man who claimed to be a hunter, his name was Skinner. Charlie Skinner. He came up and he said, you're a hunter. You're a fucking liar. You're not a true hunter, because if you were, you would have noticed we were stalking you all the way from Vybor to Green Mountain. You would have seen us, but you didn't. And I said, why do this? And he said, it's not a matter of why. It's a matter of why not.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I don't know if I agree with that, but I guess I can see where he's coming.
He said, I mean, you may argue that there's no reason for us to take you, there's no reason for us to handcuff you and have you kneeling here. And then he said, there's also no reason why we shouldn't. And I already told you, you know, I don't want your weapons, I don't want your food, I don't want your ammunition, I don't want your supplies. I want you to send a message, and that's exactly what I'm going to make you do. And I said, well, you've given me the message, so what else do you want? And he's like, no, I haven't given you a message, no. See, the only way to truly send a message is to put fear into a person. He looked at me and he said, why don't you take off those gloves? And I said, I can't, my fucking hands are tied. So he removed my gloves, took out his knife. He checked my fingers. Hey, so you have nice clean hands. I think you've never killed a man before. And I said, no, I haven't killed a man. He said, you see, people like you, people that are weak, too weak to take another person's life, you're gonna be the first people to die in this world. And I said, you know, well maybe that makes me strong, you know, I'm strong enough not to take a man's life. You know, I'm stronger than that, maybe I know how to survive by helping people, helping other people survive. Maybe we'll be the ones that come out on top and not you. And he laughed maniacally. And he said, your only way for you to survive is, you know, just as screwed up as the world around you. The world is an extremely fucked up place. And only the people that are extremely fucked up are going to survive in the end. I'm telling you, this world, it does things to people. It does a lot of things to people. It brings out a side of you that you didn't know existed. And he showed that to me. He decided not to take my fingers. Instead he went over to Zach. And he said, you seem a little worried about your little lady friend there. Is she, who is she, your wife, your girlfriend? And he said, well, you know, we're engaged. Don't know if we'll get married, you know, this world, doesn't really allow for such traditions. So Skinner, he said, you know what, you're absolutely right. So we took him away, and all we heard were the screams. Just, the screams, I still remember them now. And he come back, and he sat in front of Autumn, and he said, you know, it's really smart that you decided not to get married in this world. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And you know what, we've made it so it's going to be really difficult to put a ring on his finger because we just took his finger off. And he showed it to her, Zach's finger, bloodied, in his hand, and she was crying, saying, please don't kill him. Skinner said, relax, we don't want to kill him. There's no fun in killing him. So he came up to me and he's like, you know what, my friend, Alfred Fish, he would really like a prison, and he has a strange, obsession with human toes. So what do you think? Should we take one from you? And I said, well, I guess we don't really have a choice. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe the strong are going to be the ones that are left standing in the end. Maybe the only way you can survive is with him just screwed up. And he stopped, he looked at me, and he smiled, and he said, maybe you do have what it takes. You see, maybe I was wrong, maybe you are a hunter, maybe you're willing to adapt. So he said, why don't you give me a call on the radio? He gave me a piece of paper with the radio frequency number written on it, and he sent us on our way back to Green Mountain. We told the first man we came across about what happened. We told him these men call themselves the Crows. They wear black armbands, and they're utterly ruthless to avoid them at all costs.
So, I mean, I've got to ask, your friend over here, the hunter, Ryson, is in a black armband. Does that mean you guys are crows now?
I don't know. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. I don't really know anymore.
What's the group, you know, anymore?
Maybe we're just old crows, you know, we're all scavenging off what we can to survive. Some of us are killing other people, taking their flesh and eating it to survive. You know, the crow's primary instinct is survival at all costs. And isn't that what we're all doing? Every single one of us?
Well, I would agree with you to some extent, but at the same time, the crow's a fairly smart bird, and I wouldn't say anybody who's killing and eating other people in this world is particularly smart. I mean, let alone the potential for disease, or, you know, getting shot by other people looking for revenge. I mean, look around. There's food around. There's cows, deer, if you look hard enough. There's apples on the trees and berries in the bushes. I think that the people who go that far making excuses. Now, I know what you mean in terms of the strong are going to be the ones who survive. But there's a difference between strong and crazy, wouldn't you agree?
Crazy. I've got stories about people that have gone crazy. I have a lot of stories about that.
Hey, I'm not
I've seen
crazy.
it happen myself.
Ryson, before I continue, you don't have any food, do you? I'm kinda hungry. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm not crazy.
Right, Hunter.
Someone, had to call me out.
Problem. So when you go back, you just go back into Rice's head then, or how does that work?
And it's really hard to more like, kind of share consciousness. Pretty slow with it anyways. But I leave us, go off of it. I really don't bother racing. Not unlike it. Looks like that more than a gear.
Like, sounds like multiple personality disorder to me, but I'm no doctor.
The thing about it is, it's multiple personality disorders. People don't remember what they did. Like the other person.
Oh, is that the case? I was under the impression that multiple personality disorder could present with only mild dissociation.
No, see, I'm
Well,
a
you remember
total
something.
different.
Remember something.
being
Something
of,
you don't remember entirely.
So let's pick up where we left off then. You met the crows. They didn't take your toes, fortunately enough, but they took your friend Zach's finger.
Yeah.
And then you went back to Green Mountain and told them to watch out for the crows, and I'm guessing this wasn't yesterday, right?
No,
What have
this
you been
was
doing?
a while ago. Kind of, kind of just been traveling on my own for a few weeks. I traveled by myself. You know, I wandered in the company of other people for short periods of time. But eventually, I decided to settle with a few people. Good people.
Good. And I take it Ryson, or the hunter here, is one of those good...
This was before I met Bryson, actually.
Yeah, I came into the picture quite later.
people. Okay, so you settled with good people. Where'd you...
No particular place, we kind of just wandered around. These people, they didn't call themselves anything, they were just a group, just trying to survive. I stayed with them for a few days.
And
Yeah. The first day, I met them, wandering the fields, and three people approached me. 2 male, 1 female. And, you know, they introduced girls. One of them was, Emily. The other one was Marcus. Third person, he was strange. Nobody really paid attention to the third person. It was almost like they couldn't see him, like he didn't exist. His name was Jack. And he was, very quiet. He was a very quiet person. It was almost like he was sleeping a lot. Walking, but sleeping. But listening. Listening to everything. He would occasionally comment, but, nobody really paid attention to him. Nobody except me. You know, when Jack and I were by ourselves, we would talk to each other. I asked him, you know, what brought you here? And he said, I was born here. I've been here from the moment this world was created, this world of the dead. And I like, how is that possible? I mean, it's only been, what, a few months? Yeah, years, I can't keep track of the time. And he's like, I was born here. I didn't understand what he was talking about, but he was persistent. I was born here. I didn't have a life before this. So I said, okay. Didn't want to argue with him. He seemed like he was very quick to anger if provoked. So, you know, I agreed with him. Okay, you were born here. What have you been doing? And he said, a lot of the time. Nearly all of the time. I've just been resting, sleeping, watching people from a distance, and just recently I met these people. They seem nice, but something doesn't seem too right about them. What's her name? Amy and Marcus.
Was it Amy or was it Emily?
It was one of the two. I don't know. It was a very long time ago. I think it was Emily. Maybe it was Amanda. Maybe it was Maddie. I can't remember. We'll just go with Amy, I guess. It's easier to remember.
Emily. Fair enough. Huh?
So, Jack said, you know, I think, these two people, I don't think they want me around. I mean, they barely pay any attention to me, but I don't think they want me here. And I said, why? You seem like a decent person. And he said, I don't think I am a decent person. I'm like, why not? He's like, I've thought about things. I've thought about doing things to them. To everyone I meet. I've thought about taking out a knife. Taking off their fingers. Stripping the flesh from their legs and making them crawl. Ripping out their teeth and making them talk with blood in their mouths. I said, oh, how would they know what you're thinking? I mean, you haven't spoken to them about it, have you? And he's like, no, I haven't. They just seem to know. I think it's the look in my eyes, you know? I'm like, do you want to? Do you really want to do things to these people? And he said, I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. And at this point I was getting concerned. I mean, I was alone with this man, and I said, do you want to do these things to me? And he laughed. It was a laugh I've never heard before. And he said, no, Ivan, I like you. You're my friend. I can talk to you about these things. So I said, I'm glad to hear that. You're my friend too, Jack. On the second day, we went out hunting. You know, it was the four of us. And again, nobody seemed to pay attention to Jack. Only I was really talking to him. And they kept looking at me like they wanted me to not talk to him. Like, they were looking at me like, why are you talking to him? They didn't say anything, but it was just the look in their eyes. And I just decided, you know what, screw them. Jack seems like a nice person, at least to me.
Go on.
And,
So you and Jack stuck together then, or you stayed with them? You said you were only with them for a couple days.
yeah. We went hunting, and, I shot a deer. You know, we were all celebrating, like, yes, finally some fresh meat to finally put on the fire. It's been a while since we had fresh meat. And, I started to gut it, and Jack said, hey, let me help. And he started to gut it. He started to, examine the entrails like he was fascinated by them. And he said, you know, it's strange that every living creature is just a bag of meat and blood. And it just takes a little hole for that blood to leak out, and the person dies. And I said, person? This is a deer. And he's like, yeah, but haven't you ever wondered what this looks like inside a person? And I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess it would be something interesting, I guess. And he started laughing. And Amy and Marcus, they were just looking at us like we were crazy. I said, what's up? They're like, why are you talking about those kind of things? And I said, just relax, we're just having conversation. And he said, that's no conversation. That's sick. You're insane. And I'm like, I'm not insane. I'm just having a conversation with Jack. And they're like, what? I'm like, I'm just talking to Jack. And then Jack, he said, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, they don't know my name. Because they kept asking me, who's Jack? And I said, this is Jack, right here. And then they looked at me, and they said, oh, I see. After that, they kind of left me and Jack, alone. They kind of, you know, just talked by themselves while Jack and I would discuss other things they didn't really want to speak about. The more I spoke to Jack, the more interested I became to what he had to say. And then eventually he said, hey, do you want to travel together? And I'm like, we are traveling together. And he said, yeah, I know, but I think that, Amy and Marcus are gonna leave us soon. Do you wanna stick with me? And he sounded almost desperate. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, you promise? You'll travel with me forever. And I said, you know what? Sure. Yeah, I'll travel with you. I'll travel with you for good. And he smiled, and he said, thank you, Ivan. The next day, Amy and Marcus, they just ignored me. They ignored both of us. They seemed uncomfortable around us. And they kept giving us looks. And they kept whispering to themselves, and Jack said, Ivan, I don't trust them. I said, well, why? I said, look at them. They're just talking. They're whispering about us. You can tell by the way they look at us. And I said, well, should we leave? And he's like, what if they follow us? Maybe, what if they tell someone else about us? Maybe they'll try and get some people together. what are we supposed to do? And it's like, maybe we should cut out their tongues to stop them from talking to anyone. And I said, what? No, we can't do that. They're people just like us. And Jack said, Ivan, you promised to travel together with me forever, right? I don't want to be separated from you. What if they separate us? I said, they're not going to do that. And I started to get really uncomfortable. You know, maybe Jack wasn't the person I thought he was. And I slowly started to ignore Jack. And he's like, Ivan, why are you ignoring me? You're not becoming like them, are you? You're not like one of them. And I said, no, Jack, just go to sleep. Alright, just go to sleep, Jack. The next day, Jack was sleeping. He stayed asleep. And I went up to Marcus and Amy and I said, hey, I've stopped speaking to Jack, okay? He's sleeping now. And they said, look, we have to talk to him. We don't want you to talk to Jack anymore. We don't want to see Jack anymore. And I said, Jack's my friend. I mean, he's a weird kind of guy, but he's still my friend. And they're like, we don't want to see Jack. Alright, if we see Jack and you together again, we're gonna have to do something drastic. And I said, well, what will you do? And it's like, we may be forced to kill Jack. And that's when Jack stepped out from around the corner with a knife in his hand. And he laughed and he said, you want to kill me? Huh? Is that what you want? And they seemed surprised. We're like, wait, Jack, don't do anything. And they looked towards their guns, which were lying on the ground, but Jack's like, I don't want to see you, I don't want to see you go near them. And I started to feel really tired. I don't know why, but I just started feeling really hazy. I heard Jack laughing, and I heard Amy starting to cry. I heard Marcus screaming, wait, don't do this. And I started feeling really tired. And I fell to the ground. Maybe it was something I ate. And all I could hear was screaming. But it was like echoed screams. You know, Jack, stop, please. And then I heard gurgling and choking. And I woke back up at the start and Jack was nowhere to be seen. Amy was passed out. And Marcus was just sitting there, crying, blood dripping from his mouth. And his tongue was on the ground in front of him. And I could hear Jack laughing from outside. I told you, Ivan. These aren't good people. You should come with me now. And I was afraid. But I didn't want to anger him. And maybe he was right. Maybe Amy and Marcus, they were threats. So I left with Jack. And we didn't come back. We never saw Amy or Marcus again.
That's right. So that's quite something. I mean, probably didn't hear them either if they didn't have tongues to speak with. You said you and Jack were always going to stay together, right?
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
where is he right now?
Well, sometimes he has to sleep. I mean, he's a sleepy kind of guy. But he gave me something that I can use to always find him when I need him. I don't know why he gave me this, but I can show you. Here, let me just check down. Where is it? There it is. Okay. He gave me this. And when he gave it to me, he was like, Ivan, I want you to give me this. I want to give you this, alright? And I'm like, well, why? Just a ruined clown mask. And he, no! If you need to find me, just look at this mask for long enough. And, I'll know when you need me. I'm like, how? How will you know? He's like, I just will, okay? Just trust me on the siphon. And I said, okay, this is kind of a strange thing to give me, a ruined clown mask. And he's like, think of it as my face, Ivan. Think of it as my face. When you look at it, just picture me smiling at you. It'll make you relax. It'll make you calm down. It'll make you, sleepy. And when you wake up, I'll be there. I promise. So I took it. I put it in my bag. And Ivan, and then Jack, he went into the woods and he went to sleep. And for some reason, it works. I mean, every time I look at it, it just works.
I'll tell you what, that's one of the most frightening things I've heard in a while, and I've heard some stories, as I think I told you. It's, so he gave you the map, and you've been carrying it around for this long?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. And so, how often do you see him? Does he travel with you a lot, or does he kind of, do you guys meet up for a while? And
he and I travel a lot together. I mean, he sleeps a lot of the time, but when he's not sleeping, he travels with me. You know, he talks with me. He's a good person. He's an interesting person to talk to. I mean, some of the things he says are kind of creepy. They kind of mess with my head a bit. Very complicated
He doesn't seem like the most normal of people, but he doesn't seem altogether ill-willed, as it were. I mean, Mr. Hunter or Ryson or whoever, both of you, I suppose. How do you guys take to Jack? Or how do you?
Well, the Hunter takes very well to Jack. Me and him get on the same page. But, Ryson doesn't like to see him.
Same person. I see. You guys appear to be, good buddies when, either way.
Well, the thing is like, I've only seen him once. But, Ryson's seen him a couple times. What's happened?
Right. Okay, I gotcha.
And, what he does is, quite terrifying.
Well,
and more like, more like
tongue.
art to me. But, that'll disturb the most, timid people.
So, well, I'll tell you, boys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little perturbed by your story. Now, that being said, this is going to sell. This is gonna sell some papers. This will definitely get my career back on track. You guys are you're quite the odd couple, as it were.
What do you mean it's gonna sell papers? I don't understand.
Well, as I asked your friend Ivan here, I mean, I asked him to give me permission to, you know, take your story and include it in the piece
Yeah, but
that
I
I'm
mean,
writing.
how are you gonna post it?
Oh, I'll get out of here. I'll make my way out.
What do you,
It's
what do
only a
you
matter
mean?
of time.
Nobody leaves this place. Everyone that tries to leave, haven't you heard about what happened?
What's that?
The entire area around this land. It's all been wiped
Oh, it's
out.
locked down.
No, it's been
What
wiped
do you
out.
mean it's been-
Outbreak.
Crash?
Yeah, I was.
I mean, everybody dies out here. The
Yeah.
things that they have to do to keep themselves, you know, at least some part human. The
Yeah.
quest for hope, that's the story. Not just death and dying and decay. I mean, that's a part of it, but it can't be the whole thing.
Sound muted.
Yeah.
What if you, talk about, how you got into this, situation and how other people got into, the situation?
Alrighty.
If you know what I mean,
Yeah. So, let me continue the story that I was telling. After, Amy and Marcus, I traveled with Jack for a while. You know, we'd just wander alone together, talking. And eventually I stumbled across an old friend. Charlie Skinner.
Wait. Charlie Skinner, isn't that the, that's the same guy who cut off Zach's finger, right?
Yeah. And, you know, at first Jack was kind of like, this guy, he held you up? He tied you up, put you on your knees? And I'm like, yeah, that's him. So Skinner and Jack, they went off together and had a wee talk. And I heard them laughing together, and Skinner come back and he's like, Ivan, it's been a while, but I really like your traveling companion, Jack. And I'm like, I'm glad you like him. I mean, we're basically sworn to always travel together now. And he's like, you know, you seem like you've changed, Ivan. You've changed a lot. I said, yeah, maybe I have. So he said, how would you feel about traveling with the crows for a while? And I'm like, I don't really know. I mean, I don't think I can do any of that stuff. And he said, well, what about Jack? I mean, from what I hear, he can do quite a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I guess he can. Well, Jack, what do you think? And he, you know, Jack's like, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's travel with Skinner. So we decided to. Not long after, we come across a man by the name of James. We traveled with James for a while, and Jack...
Who was this James? Was he just somebody you met on the road, or was he another...
No, he was just a man we met up at Green Mountain. We decided to bring him with us on our travels. And, you know, Jack, he was just whispering things to me and Skinner, like, James, I don't like him. He seems a little sketchy. Jack did something to him.
Bro, did
I
he
don't...
cut out his tongue? Like he did,
No, no, he didn't do that. What I saw him do... I have a question. I have a question for you.
I'll do my best to answer it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, it's just a simple question. When we fall asleep, sometimes we dream, sometimes we have nightmares. You've had nightmares, right?
But, well, everybody's had a nightmare.
Yeah,
as
true.
human as the rest.
Everyone's had a nightmare. But, here's my question. Have you ever seen a nightmare?
Well, what do you mean? I've seen some pretty terrible things. I mean, I spent about 3 months in Rwanda during the conflict in the early 90s. I've seen people hacked into pieces with machetes. I mean, that's pretty much as close as I've come to seeing a nightmare, I guess.
Let me elaborate. Have you ever woken up and realized that the horror wasn't gone? That the terror was still there? I've seen nightmares. I've seen them. They hide in the dark, waiting, sleeping. I've seen a lot of horrible things. But Jack, if you've met him, you can say that you've seen a nightmare. I travel with a nightmare. We have a nightmare inside all of us. And Jack, when Jack wakes up, then the nightmare comes out. Sometimes the nightmare inside us prefers to stay deep, stay sleeping, and it doesn't wake up. But sometimes you're put in a certain situation. Sometimes you realize that perhaps the world is just too fucked up for you to survive in. And the only way to survive is to become just as fucked up as the world around you. To embrace the nightmare. And I've embraced Ivan. Sometimes he's afraid of me, sometimes he doesn't like it when I'm around because of the things that I've done. But he needs me.
I wondered when I get to meet you, Jack. Nice to meet you.
You're very glad you're not on the side of his knife.
Well, I'm glad I'm not on anybody's side of any knife, to be honest. But
the last
I've
time
heard
I
a lot
met
about
somebody,
you, Jack.
the last time I woke up, somebody found their tooth on the side of my knife. I can show you just how many people have met me and survived.
How many's that? I surely do hope I get to be one.
Trust me, you will. I won't,
Let me see.
the stories we're telling, we're not, here to do anything
Damage-wise, right, Jack? Here we go. 4. 4 people have met me and survived. The others, they weren't so lucky. I mean, I've never killed anybody, no. But Ivan has. Oh yeah. There was a man by the name of Clayton. And he was a real fool.
Yes,
And outside.
I remember.
You know, sometimes the only way to stop a thorn from hurting you is to pull it out and let it die.
Nothing. So, where did you come from, Jack? I mean, I've met Ivan, and I get that you're the nightmare. Does that mean you're as much a part of him as he is a part of you? Or are you something else? I mean, our friend the hunter over here is the product of an occultist ceremony, one might say. What are you the product of?
I don't know what you're talking about. Ivan and I are two completely different people. I mean,
Of course.
some people sometimes mistake us for the same person. Marcus and Amy, they sure did. And now Marcus will
No,
never
but
tell
of course
the
you're
tale.
different people. But I mean, where are you from then, Jack? You were born here,
Well,
right?
let me tell you a very quick story. You know, when I first met Ivan, he had been traveling alone for a long time. And he had a lot of time to think about the world around him, the people that live in this world. And I guess, eventually, I woke up. You see, when he first met me, he thought I was a good person. You know, he thought that amidst this world we live in, this huge net of thorns, he thought that I was the one rose. He thought that when I came out, he thought that I
To the point.
bloomed. That the petals had bloomed and he had finally met someone that he can talk to. But bloom is just a byproduct of anger, sadism, insanity. When you spend too much time alone, you begin to talk to yourself because there's no one else to talk to, no one else to see, and you begin seeing yourself for what you really are. And I guess he found me inside of him, a little part of me inside himself. You ask where I came from? I was born in this world. I was born by this world.
I see.
A nightmare within a nightmare. And trust me, there are people like me out there. There are other nightmares that exist within other people. There are many people like me. But there is only one me. And only one Ivan. And only one body between the two of us.
Ah. So then I'll ask you, if it's one body and the two of you, do you not find that sometimes you want to come out when he's in control, or vice versa? How do you decide when to switch? Where do you go when you're not in control?
He doesn't like to let me out. Like he said, sometimes I scare him. But sometimes he has to let me out because he has to send a message to people.
A message no one else can send. No.
No.
Well, I'll tell you, when I get this story down on paper, there will definitely be a message there. And I mean, if you, is there anything else you want me to put in the story? I mean, you told me such a broad, wide-ranging array of events. I mean, events that I'll have
Give
to
a
put
message.
together. And
Give a message.
I do have a message, yeah.
End it with a message.
I just want you to know that you're not gonna make it out of this country. No, none of us are. No matter how much you think that we might, the fact remains that we won't. We're all going to die in this country, eventually. Maybe in a few hundred years, the next generations, they'll make it out when the radiation settles. But for now, we're all stuck here. The only people that are going to hear your story are the people of this land. And we want you to let those people know that the crows are coming. And the people that are weak are going to die.
well, I'll tell you what, I can spread your message. I can tell people that the crows are coming. I can tell them the stories that you've told me, and I can tell them pretty well. They might just believe me, despite the fairly outside of the box story this is. Now that being said, you say that the crows are coming. And I think you said before that it's all about who can survive. I mean, the people now, the people here, they are surviving, so who is it then that the crows are coming for?
Who is it? We're coming for everybody, and we're going to give them a little test. We're gonna see if they have what it takes to survive, one way or another. And if they can, they'll become a crow as well. And if they cannot, then one way or another, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be a month from now, but eventually they will die. And it won't be because of old age, because of natural passing, no. The world will become too much. They'll be killed by this world, by the infected, by starvation, by other people, even by themselves. But we are not going to die. We're strong because we know how to survive, and we are willing to do anything.
Yeah, end it already, Jeez.
Alright, well, I'll tell you, this has been one hell of an interview. Jack, nice to meet you. I thank you very much for leaving me with all my teeth and, you know, organs and tongue and all that. And I'm sure you're capable of a lot more than I'm probably capable of. And,
Oh, don't worry.
the hunter, it's been
Yeah,
nice meeting you as well.
I never meet somebody Not
I
taking
hope you have
from
the
them.
chance to meet Ryson one day. He's a nice guy, don't worry.
Yeah, I certainly would like to meet him. In fact, I'd certainly like to meet the rest of the crows. The rest of your merry band,
I
as
have to
it were.
warn you, though. I have to warn you that I don't leave anybody without taking something from them that they can't get back. And if you meet the rest of the crows, you may just find yourself on the end of a knife. Maybe. But maybe you'll be strong enough to keep all of the parts that are attached to you. I have to tell you this because they don't call me Jack the Ripper for nothing.
Jack the Ripper. That's, nobody's gonna forget you, that's for...
Oh, trust me. You'll remember me for the rest of your life.
Sure. Well, I know you don't think that we'll get out, but I maintain the hope that we do, and if we do, we'll be, immortalized in print.
Well then. Well then. That's certainly...
Think it might be time for you to go to sleep, Jack. Get some rest for our next adventure.
I'm not getting any
I think
flesh
it's,
today.
It may be time for me to go hit the hay as well. I mean, we've been talking for a while, and I gotta get all this down onto paper before I go to sleep. I got work to do here, I think, but I'll tell you, if we do run into each other again, I certainly hope you can be as forthcoming then as you are now, because this is exactly the story I was looking for. This is really something. Now that being said, I'd also like to keep all my teeth and my tongue and my eyes in the same place as they currently are. So Jetpack, we can agree to be friends. I'd like that.
Maybe, but what was your name? I never got your name. I mean, Ivan knows your name, but he doesn't like to share everything with me.
I'm Pete. Pete Dean.
Pete Dean. I'll remember that.
I remember it as the name of a...
Yeah, name of a friend. Sounds nice.
friend. Well, it seems to me you
Yeah.
don't have too many friends, right? And we can all use a few more friends out here, I think. I know when I was talking to Ivan, he was skeptical about the value of a group, but that being said, to have a few friends, a few like-minded comrades out here is the thing that can put you between life and death, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we do have a saying in the crows. I'll leave you with it as you go off and finish your story. The crows are always watching. And it's a thing we always say.
Agree? Well, I guess I'll keep an eye out for you keeping an eye out then. But I think I'll head down to one of the barracks and rack up for the time being. Certainly been nice to meet you both. You certainly are not the most normal men that I've met out here, but you're certainly not the worst people that I've met either. I very much enjoyed getting to hear your story, and I only hope that I can tell it. You don't exactly inspire much hope of what's beyond those borders, but I still have some, for now.
Hope is sometimes what a man only needs. And I hope it brings you some kind of peace of mind. But you have a good sleep, and make sure you have your pistol at your side always.
I make sure I never leave it at home, wherever home might be these days. All right. You guys rest up and rest well, and stay safe.
You as
You
well.
too. Right, the animal food. Starving.
God damn it, I'm not right.
Hunter. Animal food. Oh.
Turn here.
Alright, I say we make our way over to this Dutch car. Get some more cows. Cook them up.
Well, I heard there was a little birdie around here listening to us.
Really?
Maybe the little birdie would like to come out.
Nin.
There he is.
I don't see him.
Where he was here.
Nin.
Maybe he, yeah, I found him. Behind this wall. Come on out.
Ivan-san, Yoshi でしょ.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
How are you? I am doing good.
And this is the little birdie. Birdie.
I do not tweet
Birdie.
like Buddy. I am...
He's not a crow, he's not a bird.
Oh, I
He's a
know.
buddy of ours.
I call him Birdie.
I have not met you, Hunter.
Alrighty,
but
whatever.
I have met
It's Yoshi, like
Ivan.
The dinosaur.
yeah,
No.
like from Mario.
No, it is not like Mario Yoshi. It is like good luck.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go look around for some food and supplies, ammunition, all
I
those
have
kind of
food.
things.
And
There's
I have ammunition. What do you need?
Oh, it's an ammo. I
Um,
found my trusty little gun over here.
I need ammo for the SKS. It goes in the AKM.
I have...
I'll trade you out.
Oh, thank you. You need food, rice? Oh, 11 rounds, sweet. Always need more ammo. Let's see. Oh, even more. Nice. And let's see if I
Hey,
can.
dropped you some. I gotta find some 7.62 ammo for that beauty over there laying down. Think about naming her Moselina.
Alright, fair enough. Oh, it's boar meat. Haven't had boar in a while.
Boy. Bryson loves to hunt boar.
I like to hunt
Alrighty.
animals. I have been hunting in Japan with my uncle.
Do you see this thing laying down over here?
Yeah, I decided I'd keep it for Rev whenever we catch up with them.
Oh,